Yesterday was, in fact, a very strange day in the crypto market. Very quiet, not a whole lot going on. Didn't even really have to watch the charts. It was just basically sideways. And really, what it's starting to feel like is kind of the calm before the storm. And it's a question of what does that storm look like? Is it one that is necessary, that actually gives us a little bit of an accelerant to the upside, or do we see some more drop? I think the actually reaction to yesterday's news was pretty good. We're going to talk about that in this video. But what I do want to talk about are just a few things that people should not be fooled by right now. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. Now, obviously, yesterday was red. And it was red around the crypto space. Not really surprising. But I think what's very telling about this is, one, what was taking place in terms of the hourly for ADA and other assets around the crypto space, basically just sideways. Nothing happened yesterday. Boring, throwaway day in the markets. But the most important thing to pay attention to is what was actually going on behind the scenes. Now, what I will say is that BTC showed a lot of resilience. BTC did actually finish green, which is kind of surprising. Got a little rejection at its 20-day moving average. Right now, it's sitting just below there at about 105, and we're trying to see what the direction for the weekend is going to be. And I have to say that across the market, pretty low volume day yesterday, $107 billion in daily trading volume. Compared to what we had been seeing during the week, about 120 to 140 billion per day, kind of quiet. So we'll see what the weekend brings. But I don't want people to be fooled by what was taking place yesterday, because we actually got some news from Iran, Israel. Obviously, that's going to be the big talking point over the next several days, maybe the next several weeks. But Iran did in fact strike Israel in Tel Aviv, and the market didn't react at all. So what you basically saw was a big initial reaction the other night, and then now the market's just calmly watching and waiting to see what happens. Now, what I will say is we actually have had a lot of that leverage move in very close to price. We've talked about this several times before, but look at how this is just squeezing BTC price. Guys, about 106.3 major liquidations began on the downside, about 104.6. So we're kind of in this tight range for BTC, but look at this in terms of ADA. Guys, it's even tighter. All right, we're talking about 64.40 and basically 62.60 or so. We're not that far from some very volatile moves in the market. And it's a question of, what gains more momentum, right? What's the overwhelming trend in the market? If the market isn't dropping, even on these news of additional strikes, it's a question of what would in fact make the market drop. Now, what I do have to say here is Iran is sounding like they may in fact be targeting U.S. bases in the Middle East, not just U.S. bases, but also British and French military bases. So that's something to pay attention to. That might cause a little bit of a stir in the market if this does happen. If it doesn't, probably a nothing burger for the market. But while this is all going on, while everybody is focusing on, the big news abroad and are altcoins going to continue bleeding versus BTC, which right now they, again, just returned back to the comfortable range. Actually, a little bit of a red day today, so we're seeing alts do a little better than BTC. While that's going on, what's taking place behind the scenes in the market? Big addition by large entities. All right, yesterday could have been a drop day for institutional money. In fact, I thought it was going to be a sell day, but it wasn't. $301 million worth of BTC bought by institutional players. BlackRock buying $238 million. They're unfazed. And I think that that's probably the best way to head into this. I talked about this in my video the other night where I was saying that, this is something where the market's going to have an initial reaction to it. It's eventually going to blow over. And guess what? Large players in the space will have picked up an even larger position. They keep taking advantage of all these shakeouts in the market. And retail just continues to be the only one that gets hurt by this, gets sidelined by this. And it is what it is. That's just how these things normally take place, and it's typically right before we take another leg in the market. Not saying that's going to happen for sure, but just something to be aware of. Now, we unfortunately did end our streak in terms of Ethereum edition days. All right, we did actually have Fidelity unload $8.8 million. Grayscale bought $6.67 million, so it ended up as a net flow day of $2.18 million in outflows. First time in 19 days that institutional money unloaded Ethereum. So what I will say here is that it really seems like people who were in fact buying the dip got some nice discounts. It's looking like ADA's nestling in nicely before a potential move here. It's just a question of, do we get that push down? Do we get that push up? Again, guys, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know for sure. Hope for no surprises over the weekend. That's the big thing. As long as we get through this weekend stable and resilient, there's a good chance that going into next week we could muster up some momentum. Then we have to pay attention to the FOMC meeting. What is the Fed's outlook for the coming months seem to be? But yeah, pretty quiet day. Today might be a lot of the same, but we'll just have to watch and wait and see what happens. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. What do you think is coming? Do you think that we're going to get a little boost in the market? Do you think we have some more downside ahead? But have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.